This episode of the Rocker Dog Podcast is sponsored by High Seltzer. High Seltzer is an ultra-premium, THC-infused adult beverage with 0 calories, 0 sugar, and 0 alcohol. It's happy without the hangover. Try any one of their incredible flavors: peach, watermelon, lemon lime, wild berry, real cherry, and pineapple. My personal favorite was the watermelon, but you will love how these 5 milligram drinks make you feel, and with 0 alcohol you can enjoy them guilt-free with no risk of the Sunday scaries. High Seltzer is now one of the largest THC-infused beverages in the country, and you can find them at highseltzers.com. And use their locator to find a retailer near you, or shop online for some amazing discounts and free shipping. That's High Seltzers, Seltzers.com. Hello and welcome to another great episode of the Rocker Dog Podcast, the show that talks to musicians about their dogs and the wonderful aspects of having these creatures in our lives brings. I'm your host, Tim Dill, coming to you with my wonderful creature, Charlie, by my side, and today our tails are wagging big time to bring you our talk with Mark Bryan, the Grammy-winning lead guitarist of Hootie and the Blowfish. Mark is currently on tour with Hootie through September and just dropped the single Don't Change a Thing from his upcoming solo album Popped that is slated for release in October. And these are his tour-happy Rocker Dogs.
Riggins in the foreground, Rosie in the background.
We
just made our way over from the hotel to the bus, so everybody ran and chased balls and chased other dogs and got tired, and now we're chilling. And so those are 2 of the 4 rocker dogs that I'm introducing you to. The other 2 have also made their way across the park in very speedy fashion. That would be Leo and Max.
Are those doodles?
And those are toy poodles.
Okay.
They are siblings, and they are 2 years old. And Riggins and Rosie are siblings, golden retrievers, and are 5 years old.
All
and
right.
Isabel Valandris is an amazing human being. And I won't tell you her age because gentlemen don't tell the age of a lady.
You can give it to us in dog years.
I don't want to have to do the math, but thank you.
Well, thank you for joining me, everybody. It's nice to see we got 2 bonus dogs and a bonus human.
You are welcome, and I'm Mark. Hi.
I usually start the show with just by the context you got your dog. So if you go back 5 years, what was going on in your life? What was going on in the band's life? You know, what kind of prompted to bring Riggins and Rosie into the Bryan household?
When I was in high school, my stepfather was a hunting guy, and he got a golden retriever. And his name was Buck. And I had Buck for like 2.5 years of my life or something like that. And then I went off to college. And I always thought, man, when I get a house and everything and get my own dog, I'm going to get a golden retriever. And a lot of years went by until I finally did it. And then when I decided to get a golden retriever, I decided to get 2 because the dogs I had before that, the worst thing is when you leave and you leave the dog behind. I hate that feeling. So I thought, well, I'm going to get 2 this time, and that'll take care of that situation. And it has, by far, it is the best way to go. And they love each other, and we have a little family, and now we have the Brady Bunch of dogs going on over here with this family. It's amazing. And so when Isabel and I leave to go do things, you know, we're able to leave the 4 behind, and we know that they'll look out for each other and have each other to hang with. And it's a great feeling instead of just leaving that one dog behind. So I think in the future, if I ever have to get dogs again, I think Riggins and Rosie are going to live way past their life expectancy. But but if I ever have to get dogs again, I think I will do the same and get 2 again for that reason.
Yeah, I hear you. I have 1, and I regret not getting 2, and I think I'm past the point of return where my 1 would accept another dog. As I said, when we first logged on, I'm house sitting for 2 of my in-laws' dogs, and my dog is just not happy.
I'll bet.
So right away, naming the dogs. I know Riggins is named after the great Hall of Fame running back John Riggins of Washington and the Jets. Is Rosie?
Rosie is named after the Tom Waits song, Rosie.
Okay.
Yes.
I was curious because I also went down the line of some of your past dogs, there was Rocky, Ripken, which seemed sports oriented, and
Yep.
Raleigh. I mean, Raleigh could be
Rolly.
Raleigh Fingers, but
No, that was Rolly.
Rolly,
And
sorry.
Oh, that's okay. And Rolly was named after the steamroller on Bob the Builder by my, at the time, 3-year-old son.
Okay. And
And
it,
then Ripken was named after Cal Ripken Jr. And obviously, he was my favorite baseball player growing up, and Riggins was my favorite football player growing up. And then Rocky was a little Maltipoo that we had when I was only about 10 years old. And at the time, the biggest movie in the country was Rocky. So we obviously named him after that, which was just, hilariously ironic because he was like, 7 pounds.
yeah. Well, it's always the small dogs that have the oversized egos and think they're
That's
the
right.
biggest dog in the park.
That's right.
Ripken and Raleigh, what kind of, or Rolly, what kind of breeds were they?
So Ripken was the oddest of all. He was, I got him from a buddy in Raleigh who had just had a litter, who owned a Rottweiler female. And he had left the Rottweiler female in a yard with some dogs, and somehow a Basset Hound got a hold of her.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so Ripken was a Basset Hound meets a Rottweiler. And he had the big head and the color of a Rottweiler, but he had the floppy ears and short legs of a Basset Hound. You've never seen anything quite like it. He was amazing. And
That's
then,
funny.
yeah, and then Rolly was like this classic mutt combination of everything. He had he looked sort of like a black lab meets a German Shepherd maybe, and then he
Hmm.
had like the chow tongue with all the different spots on it, and just you could tell he was a lot of different breeds in one. But man, was he an athlete! That dog could run the woods out where I live like nothing I've ever seen.
Yeah, I love those dogs that just seem to never tire.
Yeah.
Out of all your dogs, who would you say is your soul dog? Which dog had the most profound effect on you?
You can't do that because it's each era that affects you in that way. So
Right.
I had Ripken had so much soul in his time. Rolly had so much soul in his time. So it happens in its time, and that's it. You can't compare it. It's like trying to say that Jordan is better than LeBron. Like you can argue
Yeah.
it all day. You can make as many arguments as you want, but they're both great. No matter how, at the end of the day, they're both great. that's
Yep.
the true answer to the argument.
Yeah. Now you seem to be an unabashed dog guy. So what is it about dogs that connects with you?
I think that I wouldn't have been able to answer this question until I myself learned what unconditional love means. You hear that term as a kid and you don't really know what it means until you've been able to live it and feel it. And dogs embody that naturally and genuinely. They don't have to try. Humans, we have to sort of train ourselves to love unconditionally and on some level. And because we're sort of born selfish. Dogs, not so much. It's like their role is unconditional love or something, and
Yeah.
it's sort of I don't know. It's almost like if you believe in a higher power, it shows through dogs.
Yeah, well said. Now it's funny to see them on tour with you, and I know you've toured with your dogs before. When did this all start? Like, how far back does touring with your dogs go?
I used to bring Ripken on the bus in the '90s whenever I could. It was rare. It was like when we'd stop back through South Carolina, and then we had a run where I could bring him. I'd ask the guys, "Hey, you guys mind if I bring Ripken?" And they'd say, "Yeah, man, bring him out for a few days or whatever." And so it would just be that kind of thing. He wouldn't do the whole tour or anything like that.
Hmm.
And then at some point when I got married and we started having kids and we had Ripken and then Rolly, I would get my own bus for the same thing for like a week or something of the tour where I could bring my family out, and I'd bring the dogs for that kind of thing. So I got used to doing it with that. And then suddenly in 2019, we had our own buses for the whole tour. So it was possible to bring dogs for the whole tour. And at that time, these two were like 18 months old. So it was just pretty perfect. And it was great.
Is there any learning curve to that? Like when you first start, for instance, these two?
100%. 100%. As any dog owner knows that you have routine that you follow, and it's a different routine out on the road. But as any dog owner also knows, dogs are very adaptable, and so they'll adapt to whatever routine I put them in. There just has to be a routine where they can go out and get their run and get, use the bathroom at the right times and eat at the right time. As long as you keep the routine going, they'll adapt to whatever atmosphere you put them in.
And I've noticed on social media more and more like these amphitheaters and venues, they'll either have, the staff will have a dog or they'll have, like recently, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, they've been hosting rescues that'll come to the venue. So during sound check,
Cool.
they'll meet with the dogs. Is that anything you've experienced in your career?
Not specifically. That's a great idea, though. And our drummer from Hootie, Sony, did a bunch of that kind of work in around Columbia. I don't think
Okay.
he's never done it on a national level that I know, but there's an organization around Columbia where he helped find homes for dogs and that kind of thing. And one of the things they did, and it was the animal mission, and we would play a show to benefit the animal mission every year for about 5 years. We did that to
Oh, that's
support
great.
that. Yeah.
Great to hear. Great to hear.
Yeah.
Now, Riggins and Rosie, did they hit it off with Max and Leo quickly, or was there a little period of, where they had to get to
Yes.
know each other?
Yeah. Well, both. So Rosie, it just is one of those things that she is the sweetest creature ever put on this planet. She is just here to love. She loves everybody. She'll sit at the window all day just looking at birds and squirrels, looking for dolphins if we're by the water, that kind of thing. She just loves nature. So when Max and Leo came into the picture, she was immediately tail wagging, smiles like, "Ooh, my new friends." And then Riggins, it gets a little territorial, and you can't play with my toys; they're my toys. And then also, if little dogs get in his face, he goes, "Arr, arr, arr, arr," like puppies. He just doesn't want anybody in his face. He doesn't mind you jumping on his back or chewing his tail or anything. But if you get up in his face, he'll go, "Arr," and he'll
Yeah.
throw you off.
Well,
And so
that's
he had
fair.
to throw, yeah, he had to throw these two off of him a couple of times when they got up near his face. And once he did that, they never did it again. And everybody's been total best friends since. And now they like cuddle together. Like you'll see the two little ones cuddling right into Riggins, no problem now.
That's
So
great.
yeah.
Back in May 2020, you came out with the Puppy Song. I can imagine who inspired it, but what brought the song about? Was it the pandemic at the time?
No, it was that would have been pre-pandemic that I wrote it. I can't remember when I put it out, but it was written pre-pandemic, just about the puppies, and just about it was literally inspired by the young version of these two. And as you can tell in the video, we loaded it up with puppy shots.
Yeah.
It's like a kid song,
Yeah.
like a
It was
dog
great.
song, kid song. Thanks.
And then this is just random, but in the Hootie and the Blowfish 2005 LP, Looking for Lucky, there's a dog on the cover and there's the silhouettes of you four in the background. What was the context of the title of that album?
That the title came to us from our manager at the time, Doc McGee. He's like, "I just have this idea of a dog that's just, got one eye and maybe three legs and just all messed up, and like he's a mutt, and and he's mangy, and he's just sitting there, and he's got a tag on, and on the collar of the tag it just says Lucky." And he's like, that Doc was like, "I don't know why, guys, but that's my vision for your album cover." And so we started messing with that idea just because we thought it was hilarious, and then we came up with, Looking for Lucky was a really catchy phrase or title or whatever. And then we had our art director at the time come up with the cover, and it's so badass. But the way that came about was we went out on the photo shoot with a Frisbee dog, and this dog could just do amazing, jumps. And so we're getting our pictures taken, and the dog's jumping in the foreground. And there you go. Came out great.
That's very cool. All right. Well, I conclude every show with what I call the Zoomies, and those are just 5 fast, frivolous questions. The first
Love it.
is, do you kiss your dogs on the mouth?
Yes.
Okay. Does Isabel?
Yes.
Okay. I wanted to include her into some of this. Question 2 is, does Riggins and Rosie have a theme song?
We'll make it
Like-
the puppy song. It actually starts with their names. Riggo and Rosie had a real tough day.
That's right. That's right.
That's
I was
definitely
gonna-
the theme song.
Okay. So I was going to say on the flip side of that, if being a sportsman like yourself, what would their walk-up music to the plate be? The puppy song or something?
No, Rosie's would be Rosie by Tom Waits, of course.
Okay.
Her theme
Makes
song.
sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
And let's see, Riggins would be we'll give it the theme from Rocky.
Okay.
He can like jump, I mean, run and jump for a ball, and he makes it like very athletic. So that music fits very well.
Okay. Question 3, which is more times than not, it's hypothetical about touring with your dogs, but you do tour with your dogs. So I'm curious, do you have anything on your tour rider that takes care of them? You know, do you have
No,
any treats or bones or anything?
well, I have a good answer to that. The answer is no. That we don't have anything on the rider, but we did make a lot of specifications before the tour. And the one thing I'll say is that we about that is that we got a great bus driver who is a dog lover,
Oh, that
and
helps.
Rosie rides up with him right here every trip. She
Oh, that's
just
awesome.
rides right there, and she just like likes to just feel his legs and feet next to her, and then he lets them out all the time and walks them. He loves to take them on walks and feed them, and he's just a dog lover. So that is just an amazing part of the journey, having a driver who's also a dog lover. And
That's
then
great.
yeah, here's another little zone that doggies can go in right here. This is sort of like a little doggy bunk if they want to go aside. And then check this out. See, this bag is from Hearts, right?
Yep.
It's full of dog stuff. And so when we were in Secaucus, New Jersey, we happened to be parked next to the headquarters of Hearts, and what was the other company?
Fresh Pets.
Oh, yeah, Fresh Pets.
Oh, perfect.
And so we're out there walking our dogs in this little courtyard between the headquarters of Fresh Pets and Hearts, and these nice ladies come out and they're like, oh, we love your dogs, and the next thing you know, they're telling us like, we work right here and all we do is dogs, and so they brought us this nice big bag of treats and all kinds of stuff, and toys, and so that was really cool.
That's very cool. So question 4, do you have a dog voice? Do you use a dog voice to speak to them in like a cutesy voice? Or the second part of the question is, do you personify them? Like, do you give them a voice as if you imagine how they would sound as a human?
Hilarious. Yeah, both. I mean, we don't do the human personification thing very regularly, but we have done that before. Go ahead.
Like Riggins is more like, he always looks confused. So like, that dog confused sound. We're like, oh, it's not.
Yep.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
And then like, we kind of give him, what kind of voice do we usually give? Like,
we've done a bunch of different ways. Like Leo's like the little kid that's always like, wait for me, guys. Wait up for me. Yeah. Wait for me, guys. Yeah. And then he's also, whatever, I do what I want.
Yeah, the Cartman.
And then, let's see. I don't know.
It's like Riggins and Leo's that we.
And then the first question you had though was not.
It was, do you use a dog voice? Just like either the baby voice or the, whatever it may be.
Do I, Isabel? Do I have like a little dog?
When you see Leo and Max, you have a little more high-pitched baby voice.
I guess I go like, "What's up, buddies?" I kind of go like, "Oh, look at my buds! Look at all my buds!" Yeah, that's what I always do. And then we always say Leo. We kind of say it like that every time, Leo.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I love how the dogs bring out everyone's creativity.
Yeah, they're. I'll tell you. Being on the road, you really get to really see how much love they bring to people, because you're just walking down the street anywhere or walking anywhere, in any town or at the venue, and anyone that sees them is just like, oh, and they come over and they want to rub them and hug them, and everybody's smiling and the dog's tails are wagging. And so there's so many moments of joy surrounding the dogs, and you really realize that, it's a special thing.
Yeah. I feel bad for the people that aren't in on it,
I agree.
Question 5 is, if there's an organization or a service that you'd like to give a shout out to, anybody who's, it could be a dog walker, a vet, a rescue.
So Dean, our bass player for Hootie, has deansdogs.org. And,
oh, wow.
Yeah. And that's been popping up on the screen all summer at our shows, and it's an organization that he's working with and trying to do some good. So I would promote that one. DEANSDOGS. Dean's
Awesome.
Dogs. And
Awesome.
it's either .org or .net or both. It might be both, but anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, Dean's Dogs.
I'll look it up and put it in the show notes. I can't wait to see it, and I kick myself for missing it.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, I think it's pretty new. I think he just started doing it either this year or last year. So,
Great.
but anyway, that's the one I want to throw up there. And our
So
bass player's name is Dean Felber.
Yeah, you've touched upon Dean, you touched upon Sony. Is Darius a dog guy as well?
Yes, and he just got 2 new dogs. Do you remember what the breed is?
It's like the 3.
Oh, it's King Cavalier.
Okay.
He got two King Cavalier Spaniels, I guess they are. Yeah, puppies.
Yep, I
he
know
is a
those
dog
as
guy.
well. That's great.
Yep.
Anybody else traveling with their dogs?
Nope.
Okay.
And there's a lot behind it. So I mean, I had to start prep on that early on. In the tour, it's a big decision to make. So, but we're working it out. We're doing it.
Well, I'm glad to see it. They look like they're going to have a great time, and I can understand why you want to keep that piece of home with you while you're on the road.
Yeah, it's a really special thing to do for sure.
Well, what's left for the band with the end of the summer? What's next for you guys?
We're about a third of the way through the tour, and then that's it. Back to chilling after that. I've released my album this year. It's called Popped. Comes out in October, but I'm starting to release singles now. And so I'm enjoying that, putting out a bunch of new music. So please check that out and share it. And I might try to go do some shows next year around that, but I don't really have a big tour planned or anything like that.
All right, well, we'll keep an eye out for you. I know you're going to be in our neck of the woods later in the summer, so hopefully I'll see you on stage and get a glimpse of the dogs peeking from behind the stage.
That sounds great, man. Look forward to it.
Me as well. Thanks for giving me your time, Mark. Isabel, it was nice to meet you, and it was nice to meet Leo, Max, Riggins, and Rosie. And
Tim,
good luck,
nice to meet you,
and break a leg the rest of the summer.
Okay, thanks, sir.